the oddity that a guy like Mark Cuban would say, I'll keep running the Mavs, and this is just a handshake deal. It's not actually written down anywhere. If he actually did want to keep running the Mavs and think that was very important moving forward.
So when we talked about that for a couple days in a row, I got a lot of feedback on it, and some of it was from people in the media or people who are very close to the Mavs, and I was floated the idea that he wasn't open to that because it would have made him an employee, and he was never going to be that. Like that he was the idea of Mark Cuban having an NBA contract through the Mavs was not going to happen, and that's really the only way I
because
guess.
then he could have been fired from it.
Could have been fired, I guess. But is there no way to codify this role without having a contract, or in the terms of the sale, say as a 27%, it comes with these things on down the line? And I'm also very interested in how the process worked, where it started one way and changed. Because he said, initially that was the case. All right, well, over time, did they just stop copying him on emails? Was it a formal thing? Because if it wasn't a formal thing, it's really weird to me to have a transition in who's in charge of a basketball team or any team without really telling anybody.
Well, that's the kind of the way Cuban ran things, though. Even bringing in Haralabob and Donnie and who was in charge. It was Cuban in the end.
But I still feel like Cuban was always the guy, know? So you're right. It was murky. But now it's like, okay, let's say Cuban's in charge in March. And then in June, he finds out, hey, Nico's more in charge. Well, what's been happening for those 3 months? Is Nico calling teams that Cuban doesn't know about? Are they scouting players for the draft? That's weird.
You would have to surmise this is a Nico. Nico's a relationship guy. And apparently he developed a good relationship with Dumont. And maybe even had his ear to, we don't need Cuban in on this stuff. Me, J Kidd. I mean, who brought us to the finals? J Kidd. We just gave him a new contract. We re-upped him. Make sure he's here. We can't lose him. Well, I saw.
Can I offer one more thing that's really crazy? Because it's full faith in Nico from Dumont, for sure, right? If you go back to those comments Dumont made, I want to say at the luncheon, which is a lunch with speaking. He said, we were in the finals last year, and the team that beat us got better, and so did some of the teams that we beat on the way there. We didn't get better. Well, I would argue against that, and I would say that Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes absolutely made you better, and those were moves made by Nico and or Dennis Lindsey. I think probably Nico. But if the reason you're trading Luka is because you feel like you didn't get better enough in the offseason relative to other teams, isn't that the fault of your general manager? Isn't that his job? So if you're flatly looking at the summer and being like, fuck, we did not get better, that's his job. So why do you not turn the guns at him and be like, dude, you're slacking. We didn't get any better. And again, I think they did. I think going and getting Q and Najee were good moves. But the guy you indicted there is Nico. That's the part I can't really wrap my head around.